So in this video, we're going to be talking about the idea of, is perception reality? You know, we tend to think of physical reality from the lens of our eyesight. What we see is real. What we see is real. That's why there's that phrase, seeing is believing. But is seeing really believing? Is that real? Because if seeing is believing, then everything on the news should be taken literally. And there should be no reason to fact check. There should be no reason why newscasters end up getting sued for telling false claims. There should be no reason for that. Yet we know that that happens all the time. People don't talk about it, but it is real. If perception is reality and what we see with our physical senses is real, then anything you see on Facebook should be taken as truth, right? I saw it, therefore it must be true. If perception is reality and what we see is believing, then anything you see with AI should be real, right? Anything. You go on YouTube and watch AI generated videos. You can see a person transforming from a young child all the way to an adult, and from an adult to an old man, all in visual captured form in video. Is that real? Or was that generated? Was that made up? That's why seeing is not always believing. So what about hearing? Maybe I heard something firsthand. Maybe I was there and I listened to something go down and I heard somebody talking to somebody else and they said something, but maybe I missed the context, right? So is seeing believing? Not always. Is hearing believing? Not always. I could walk into a conversation between what seems like a heated argument, and it may not even be a heated argument. It might just be two people rehearsing a monologue or rehearsing a dialogue for a play, but I might perceive it as reality, as if they're fighting. So is visual, is auditory, is this even real? Is kinesthetic even real, right? Sometimes we feel the heat, we feel the cold, and sometimes it's just a neurological thing, right? There's this whole realm in medicine called psychosomatic disorders, right? They can't even explain it. It's just your body just starts to have sensations, or your body starts having reactions based off of mental perceptions or mental thoughts. So if seeing is not believing, if hearing is not believing, how do you judge reality? See, now this is a very, very important topic because sometimes we have reality skewed. It's not 100% accurate in our own perception. And if we go through life believing certain things, we're skewing our version of reality, right? So I'm just gonna show you a box right here, and I'm not sure if this is gonna pick up on the camera, but if you're looking at this box from the camera's perspective, you should be able to see this bear on this side, which is my left, your right. My left, your right. And this fireplace should be on my right, your left. Now, if you introduce a lens, right? If you introduce water as a lens, you will notice that certain aspects of this visual start to change, right? And if you move it closer and further, there is an exact point where the image is now skewed. The image is now skewed, and you may even see this on camera, but the image that you initially saw might start to reverse. So what is actually happening here? So there is what we call objective reality, right? Which is what is actually so. And then there's also there's a subjective reality, how it appears. You know, once you look through this lens and you're looking at that bear and that fireplace, they might even roll reverse and they might switch sides. You might see the bear on your left, my right, and you might see the fireplace on your right, my left. And that's called subjective reality. So subjective reality is not reality, but we think of it as reality because it is our experience. We go through life. We are the ones that had these experiences. I went through the heartache. I went through the breakup. I went through the job loss. I went through the fire in the burning building or something, right? I went through those tragedies. I went through those things. Therefore, my reality is real. But is that true? I'm here to challenge you and just give a perspective that maybe, just maybe, what you are looking through is just a lens. And just like this lens can distort the objective reality of the placement of the bear, this can happen to you through conditioning. This can happen to you through your environment. This can happen to you through your friends, your family, your social circle, through social media, through Facebook, through the news, through movies, through television. Distortions can happen all the time. In neurolinguistic programming, we talk about how there are 3 major things that are happening all the time when you are perceiving things. If you hold something in your heart of hearts as true, doesn't matter how much evidence we give you to the contrary, your mind will do one of 3 things if it's the opposite of what you hold true. It will either delete the information, it will distort the information like we showed with that water and that picture, or it will generalize a version of reality. So deleting the information means I can't even see it. It's out of mind, out of sight. Maybe somebody became a millionaire on TikTok, but that won't happen for me, right? If I just put in the time or effort. No, that can't happen. Maybe if I put in the time and the effort to study business, I could become an entrepreneur. But maybe there's that one person out there who did it, but that's not me. I can't do it. Nobody in my family has ever done it. Therefore, I can't do it, right? That's called using these types of filters, right? You're using these filters to distort the reality, to generalize the reality, or to delete the reality. Maybe there was one long lost relative who did achieve financial independence in your family, but you delete that information. You're like, you know what? They're just an anomaly because they lived overseas or something. And you can't even reconcile that, hey, wait a second, somebody in my family broke the pattern. They broke that generational cycle. You can't even allow that into your reality because of the perception. The perception, which is filtering the way you perceive reality. This is why you have to look objectively through all your lenses. Is what I believe actually real, right? Sometimes people hold on to a victim mentality, right? That I can't get a job because so-and-so is president. I can't get a job because the economy sucks. I can't get a job because the markets are terrible. Or they generalize on the other extreme, dating and relationships. I can't find a quality relationship because all women are this way, all men are that way. That's called generalizing. You're making a projection onto an entire group or a subgroup and saying that this is the reality for all. It becomes an all or nothing kind of thinking, right? This is a cognitive distortion that's happening, and you're generalizing it across an entire subgroup. Then there's also deleting, right? Maybe the perfect person in the relationship for you is there, but you just can't even see it because of your filters. Maybe the answer for your perfect health and fitness and weight loss routine is right there in front of you, but you can't even see it. Maybe there's tons of people getting those results, but you can't even see it, right? Maybe there's people passing that exam that you believe cannot be passed for you. Why is it that you don't believe that it can happen for you, but you do believe it can happen for someone else, right? Take a moment to pause and reflect on that one. Because if you're really being honest, there are things that you believe others can do, but when it comes to you, You don't believe it's possible. So why not? The distortions